Yo, I was just thinking this is a lot of fun still. I woke up later than usual. It's 7 o'clock right now. I probably woke up like 6:30, but I went to bed at like 12, which is also pretty unusual for me. But I was watching my 2-hour vlog. It's actually not bad, man. Like, there's this professor at, I don't think he's still at university anymore, but he went to the university that I went to, and I forgot his name, but he wasn't my professor. But he's a cognitive scientist, and he talks all about how concepts are stored and structured in the brain, and how they relate to each other. And long story short, he draws a lot of circles with arrows pointing to other stuff. And he's also really concerned about AI and how it's shaping our future. And I want to almost send him that video, because a lot of the professors, I feel like they are kind of giving up, or they're just being really critical of it. That's the kind of way that they seem to feel. And it almost seems like a lot of the professors don't really have hope. Like, we can't solve this problem, or I don't know. It just seems like they're very pessimistic about it. But that is kind of the nature of being in academia, is because you learn stuff and then you hope that that stuff that you learn has an impact. So in order for it to have an impact, you gotta tell people why it matters. And when people don't listen to why it matters, then it's like you're not, at that time, doing what would be good. Like, maybe people will listen and use the research later, but who knows? But I'm curious about other people's thoughts on this, how to save the world from AI, but also at the same time, like I was mentioning in that long vlog, I'm not an expert and I don't have the credentials of a PhD, but I have worked in the industry and worked at places that many people don't get the chance to work, or worked on many things that people don't get the chance to work. Okay, I'm gonna get coffee and not go into an immediate rant. Intermediate. I'm an idiot. Okay, so off the top of my head, the goal for today's vlog is to improve that AI that's kind of sorting out and figuring out the structure of the day. Because that way I don't have to sift through all of this footage. Plus, like I was saying yesterday, that is a big key to a lot of other valuable personal data collection for you, the person, not for necessarily anyone else unless you want to share it with them. And I did edit that vlog yesterday a little bit with just a trial of that type of agent that looks at the transcript. I saw that Amazon bought a company that's basically like a wristband that you wear, that the news said it records all your conversations. So, or no, not all your conversations. The news said that it records everything, and then, it transcribes it, you get some data from it, but you get some information from it. Obviously, that's a concern. Another concern, where's the data stored? Who has access to the data? How are you preventing from people who don't want to be recorded to be recorded? Especially a wristband, man. Like, with glasses, at least you can see this obnoxious thing on people's faces. But even then, the public sphere, just walking outside is going to be, and going to a party or something like that, you have to be careful. You did have to do that because of phones anyways. Okay, I can't talk necessarily without drinking water first. But yeah, I think everyone's kind of building similar stuff, right? We're all building agents, we're all building these data pipelines or workflows, and we're all building them with agents. So I don't think that it's really crazy to say that kind of stuff because it's so obvious. But yeah, who is even working on this kind of stuff? Okay, I'm gonna go get that coffee. Dude, should I go buy a bag of coffee? I was gonna get one from downstairs. I want to do laundry today. Yeah, I know I keep saying this. One thing I really want to do is get the action items from these transcripts, and that's not hard at all. I already have the transcript stuff, which I forgot that you can just copy and paste it out of Premiere, so I don't have to set up the end flow for that. But the end flow also shouldn't be too hard. But yeah, and it's one step at a time. You can't rush that either. So I was working on that yesterday and I made some good progress on it with that Python stuff. This is my habit tracker. I want to be able to set a product and change it. I also thought about just running these vlogs through one of those short form content creators, like the automation tools that everyone does, just to see what it would come up with. This coffee reminds me of Christmas. I want to meditate. Okay, usually I don't sit at my desk so early. I like to sit on the couch and drink my coffee, but this thing is recording, like the laptop. Dude, I really want a Mac Mini. I know I have this, but I do not like developing on this. It's just too much of a hassle to deal with the Windows. I'm looking through my principles. Sometimes I sort them by like growth areas, or I sort them just shuffle, like random. But looking at them from like top to bottom, most recent first, is actually pretty helpful because these are the ones that relate to, the most recent past. Bill Walsh, be yourself, be committed to excellence, be positive. Henry Matisse, creativity takes courage. Like growth area. Hey Google, set a timer for 20 minutes.
All right, 20 minutes. Starting now.
Hey Google, turn the volume down.
All right.
Hey Google, turn the volume down.
Sure.
That's new. She never did that before. She would just turn the volume down and not say anything. I could literally spin up a separate channel that is like only non-talking, like study with me stuff, because I just use the opposite of all the other footage. Like every time I'm talking, that can be the talking vlog, and then every time I'm not talking, be in the not talking vlog. Stop. Henry Matisse. Hey Google, who was Henry Matisse?
According to Wikipedia, Henri-Émile Benoit Matisse was a French visual artist known for both his use of color and his fluid and original draftsmanship. He was a draftsman, printmaker, and sculptor, but is known primarily as a painter.
Was he in the Renaissance?
Henri Matisse was an iconic French painter whose work spans across many decades and styles. He was born in 1869 and received a formal art education as a young adult. He soon broke away from the more traditional painting methods that he had been taught and began painting in an impressionistic style, which was popular during his time. He became one of the leaders of an emerging post-impressionist art movement called Fauvism. Fauvism is a painting style characterized by rough brushstrokes and vivid, non-naturalist colors which express strong emotions. During Matisse's Fauvist painting period, which lasted roughly from 1905 to 1908, he painted a variety of portraits, still lifes, and landscapes. Beyond Fauvism, his style continued to evolve and employ bright colors and patterns. In the 1940s, he began making paper cutouts and collages, also known as découpé. Today, Henri Matisse is remembered as one of the most influential and prolific artists of the 20th century.
I made this incredibly fun tutorial that shows you how to make a Matisse-inspired collage. You should check it out.
Okay, for what it's worth, I'm thinking about revenue sources. One is sponsored posts, obviously, which I do. The other one is potential software type of revenue. And got a lot of interest in the AI study group. Also, I obviously have a goal to help people reach their goals. So here's what I was thinking. If you join the study group, you pay $1, but whoever helps other people the most, they get their dollar back. Or something like that, right? I don't know what the exact economics would be, but something like that. So that way, you can sustain the study group. In other words, the person facilitating it, and which is me right now. And then also it's not that expensive, but it is there is some barrier to entry, so it's not just a bunch of random, not really engaged people. And then it also gives some incentive to actually help people and post good quality stuff. So how I'm thinking about what is helping people in this case? It's actually just posting helpful posts or sharing helpful content. And how do you judge whether or not content is helpful? Well, is it bringing people back to the study group, and are people watching it and liking it and leaving positive feedback on it? So Yeah, the only thing we have to worry about is bots and people like lying to try to get their dollar back. But I think if it's only $1 and you only just get $1 back, then it's more like a game and less like a, you know, competition, like some kind of pump and dump thing. Okay, that sounds cool. Creativity takes courage. Henry Matisse. Okay, I'm gonna go for a walk outside because I'm not overthinking it. That's one of my habits too, 15-minute walk. DMX sample. All I need is a beat with a DMX. You smile, look away. Hey Google, set a timer for 25 minutes. 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Oh. About the bottom bake. Oh yeah. Hey Google, how much time is left?
You've got 6 minutes and 48 seconds left.
1, 2, 3. Hey Google, skip. Hey Siri, skip. Hey Siri, skip. Stop. I was just thinking about how to save the world from AI or whatever. How to save us from AI. Yesterday I was saying that we have to be smarter than AI, or better than AI. But I think that what that really means is we need to be able to predict the future of stuff that's really important better than AI. So you can think about like real complex, intelligent stuff that it could be really good at, and it would be really hard for us to keep up. But there's different kinds of intelligences, and I think one of our most basic intelligences is like emotional intelligence. And let me give you an example of something. Like if you take a picture of some art and you ask ChatGPT, what does it mean? It's gonna give you some typical answers. But what it means to you is probably completely different. So people understand stuff like art differently, and most stuff. But art is like one of those things that I feel like we haven't really figured it out. So the AI doesn't really have that in its training data. But if we get more intelligent, and if we get more able to like understand and communicate art through things like art and other stuff that's more feeling-ish, like right side brain, then we'll be ahead of AI in that space, maybe just enough to maintain our agency over AI in some of the most meaningful ways. So yeah, just a thought and just a little bit of, adding color, no pun intended, to what I was saying yesterday about staying ahead of AI. I know that's kind of crazy. Remember, these vlogs are art, so forget to say it. I am a 7 billion X love artist and scientist. Hey Google, set a timer for 30 minutes.
And that's starting now.
I'm gonna shower for 30 minutes and get ready. It is 9:43 a.m. Dude, Matisse, I'm a little bit bigger fan of Matisse now. That's pretty cool. Cause look, dude. Okay, so his thing was like kind of like harsh brush strokes or something originally, with like very bold colors. And look at this thing, dude. Very harsh brush strokes with pretty bold colors. And also, I know probably no one has seen this, but I kind of been making digital collages, like a lot of people, particularly in the Web3 space and like the counterculture social media areas. Like people have been making digital collages, and some of them are pretty sick. A lot of them are just like kind of meme things. A lot of the artists come from sort of a meme background. But yeah, I've been doing that. I haven't really been sharing them, but I've been posting some stuff on some accounts that I won't tell you guys about yet. But that and like some stuff I haven't even posted, like some digital collages. They're pretty cool. Like I spent a lot of time on some of them, and they're very, I would say, intricate. Yeah. Anyways, okay, I'm gonna take a shot. Yo, I'm about to email some professors. Well, one professor in particular who was never my professor, but we went to the same university. And I'm just gonna ask them about their take on my thoughts on how to save the world from AI. It's really risky. It's not risky actually. It's just sending an email, but it's like, I'm basically sending an email to one of the most renowned professors at that university. So I don't know if he'll read it or anything, but worth a shot. Hello. I just thought of something. So What did I just think of? Why does that always happen? There's a guy I watched on YouTube. He's like a network security, I think is his channel name or something. And shout out to you, man. You're cool. And that's how I learned N8N. One second. So I learned N8N from him pretty much at first. And then one of the things that he said was like, the hardest part about using it is thinking of what you want to build next. And I think that's why channels like his and other AI channels, they're just blowing up because people want to learn AI. And that's like, people's top interests who follow me on Instagram. And those are, tech people. But that is I think it makes sense because people realize what it can do, particularly like things like agentic, systems. So my thing is like, I really think that we have to do the help people thing because that changes the culture of AI. And that's what we have to do, I think, to mitigate the risk. And not just AI, but how we work together on the internet, how we communicate on the internet. I think a while ago I wrote this thing called New IPs, which is New Internet Protocols and New Intellectual Property. And it's just new ways of thinking. It's just a proposal for new ways of thinking about basically sharing data on the internet. Because those are, like basically what I'm saying is open protocols. And we can pick what protocol we want to go with. Because a protocol is a way of doing things and agreeing on how to do something. So we need new ways of agreeing. We need new protocols. And also new intellectual property, which that's like the data ownership part of it. And how much of your data contributed to this downstream thing or this impact that some model that used your data had on some downstream thing. Like where does the credit go? So that's new ways of thinking about that. And I think I'm not saying like completely rewrite everything, but I'm thinking more of just new proposals. And I think we just need to, once people learn how AI works, which they will learn because everyone's using it and it's so easy. You don't really have to learn it. You just talk to it, right? But the learning part of it is the teaching part of it and the programming part of it. Like how to program the AI and how to build the AI and how AI learns. And that people don't understand because they just look at it like a bot. And that's the common, I don't know, I could be wrong. I don't know how much people understand, to be honest. But I feel like because that is such a, you see it on YouTube and Instagram and in the news, like AI is, people want to learn it. And so people are learning it and people are becoming software engineers. So I think if we don't change the culture, then people will, I think, I'm not saying that everyone is going to do a bunch of horrible stuff. People will probably just be normal about it. But I don't think I think the larger economic structures will have more influence over individuals on the whole. And so that's, if that's why I think it is kind of like a weird gravitational pull / arms race to do this, because if you do learn AI, it's the quickest person in is gets the most reward pretty much. Kind of like that. And there's like a self-reinforcing, I don't care about my data thing to these foundational models or big entities. And that is one of the risks, one of the biggest risks. So that's why, I don't know, there has to be some kind of like threshold that we have to get over to where enough people understand that and opt in a different way, like a different protocol, or just there has to be some threshold of getting people to understand this enough to see the impact and to make changes. Because once people do make changes to say basically no, I don't want to use this platform because this platform doesn't give me enough value for my data. Basically what has to happen is that they have to get way more value from whatever thing they're doing outside of that platform. Otherwise, the sort of data extraction and monopolization will continue in that way, I think. And one thing I want to say is that, I said this to my friend earlier, I don't think that the tech companies and stuff are trying to do something bad. I think they actually have a good understanding of the problem and they're doing their best, I think, actually. They're competing and everything, and they have to deal with a million different things. But I don't think they're ill-intended, is what I'm saying. But I think that they recognize the same risks that I'm trying to get at, which is like, if one of them or some other entity did happen to get ahead of everyone, so far ahead that it reached super intelligence before everyone else, obviously that's the problem. So I just wanted to say, yeah, that I don't think that they're ill-intended or they have ill intentions, but it is that kind of system that they've been brought up in that seems to lead to those kind of, gravitation of data and power and stuff effects. So yeah, those are systems that are based, there's information processing systems, and the ownership part of it plays a big role because that's the data thing. But really the understanding part of it plays a huge role too, because the reason why those entities and companies can do that is because they do understand AI and data and software and stuff, and they've been able to leverage it. And I think if we get more people to understand it, data and AI and software, then people can spin up their own stuff, and they can post it on Instagram and YouTube and wherever they want, and TikTok and Snapchat and whatever. I'm just trying to throw them all in there now. But so it's not like those nodes would be eliminated. I think they would could play a critical role as some type of infrastructure for this, more decentralized, distributed thing that I'm talking about. Okay, but yeah, I think a big key is to just educate people who never thought that they could be educated in that way. And also this is the part I need to figure out, but I think we should experiment with ways of working together in like economic systems where the goal is not to extract value, like financial value, which is, if you have a business owner, it seems like the most successful, okay, I'm not gonna go into that part, that's a different tangent, but I think we need to realize that, or we should research and play with ways of like new economic systems or new incentive systems. Really, that's what I think. And more concretely, it's like we have to make algorithms that help people based on what they say they want and what their goal actually is. And sometimes their goal is like kind of wishy-washy, and sometimes it's pretty concrete. And I think if someone's goal is to help someone else reach their goal, I think that they should get more resources or energy or something like that. And depending on all the other factors, like what's the likelihood that they do help that person. Basically, I think it's like one way to look at it is to allocate the resources and energy to the places that need it the most, and they're in the most need because they have the potential to impact the most people if they learn this thing or if they get this certain information. So that way, and I think it's probably like, information is such a crazy thing that like, this would probably look different for almost everything. Like these kind of economic incentive systems would probably be super case by case for them to work right. But if people have the understanding and capability to facilitate some type of economic or incentive system among a community where people have shared goals, then they could really benefit in terms of a valuable information system, like a good model that they can train together to reach their goals and help each other. Something like that. I don't think this is anything new really. It's like crypto. No, I'm joking. I actually want to specify too that I think that the crypto space is like such a good. I'll put it this way: it's such a good experiment of like how you can just get a bunch of like money hungry people together in one ecosystem and just let them run wild, because that's literally like what I look at. That it's not that's not true. I feel like it has this weird paradox of like people that I really aligned with because of the data ownership and the economic things that we can get with stuff like crypto. But it also has this like almost parasitic layer of, you know, quote unquote users that, but it's almost like parasitic, but it's also what keeps it alive in some ways. So that's a weird, you know, mix of things. But what I'm getting back to is like that is a really good first, you know, run into stuff like what I'm talking about. But I think that cryptocurrency, like, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Ripple, Filecoin, those things are just components. They're perhaps critical components, but they are components of a larger idea that is really data ownership and traceability and also privacy and a lot of the stuff that we value. Like, I like to think about stuff like IPFS or like distributed networks that don't really require a cryptocurrency. But I do think that, you know, there's probably a lot of value there. Hey Google, set a timer for 8 minutes.
Got it. And that's starting now.
Okay, now I'm just rambling. But yeah, why did I get into crypto? Is this done? No, I got into crypto because I just wanted to say that. I wanted to like put that, I wanted to log that because I haven't said it yet on this channel pretty much. I haven't said it in my logs, so that's why. But yeah, that was kind of rambling though. Gotta keep that in mind. Oh man, I have not had a super productive day, but I did have a pretty productive day yesterday. But I slept pretty good. I had a good morning. I sent a email that I thought about a lot, and I think it was good to try to send that email. Maybe I shouldn't have spent so much time on it. But yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit of feedback on these ideas from people who can provide good feedback. Dude, the artist scientist thing is like, oh wait, I can't because I have to. All right, dude, that's crazy. Maybe I shouldn't tell people the kind of mission statement. Or I don't know. No, I don't think it matters. But maybe I'll just not say it so much or present it so much. But I do want to present it to myself. Okay, I'm gonna like brain dump I'm just gonna brain dump to-do list real quick. Hey Google, how much time is left?
You've got 4 minutes and 9 seconds remaining.
Perfect. Okay. Man, yeah, I actually kind of don't want, I don't know. I'm trying to decide what kind of feedback. Actually, I want all the feedback on the vlog, but I just don't want to have to change my routine to account for it. So I totally agree that the vlog should be shorter. There should be titles and all this stuff. So I don't know why contemplating that. It's because for that stuff to get in there, it will be like this until that stuff is built. So that's why I am contemplating it. But let me write down what I need to do. Okay, stop. Okay, never mind. Okay, I think I got a good grasp on what I need to do. And then the last thing is I need time to edit the vlog just in case in Premiere. Kind of low on energy though, to be honest. Dude, today was like, I would say it was an off day, but I did the email thing in the morning, which maybe that was a waste of time, I don't know. But it did force me to think about stuff because it was a really risky email to send. If you're watching this, there's no way you are, but yeah, I don't know. I got a response from one of the person and it was good, I think. It was not what I wanted, but I didn't expect to get a response at all. So that's that. But I was also thinking like, you know, you have to get that doesn't even bother me at all. And in fact, it made me feel better because just to get that data point. So yeah, you have to keep going. You're gonna get a lot of no's. That's life. Why did I say that? I forgot. Yeah, I'm running low on energy. Oh yeah, so I was talking about my day. So yeah, I sent the email this morning. I feel like there was other stuff I did this morning. I woke up pretty late. Did I actually? Dude, I can't remember. No, yeah, today's the day. I thought that was yesterday for a second. Dude, the days kind of blend together watching these vlogs because I just watched the 2-hour vlog because I didn't have time to watch it the other day. And I do watch these before I post them, but I like to watch them. I like to review them because that's kind of the point, is to look back on the past, like a summary of what you've been up to. But for some reason, it's like I'm getting confused about which day it is because I'm watching different days in different orders and stuff. But yeah, today was a day that I woke up kind of late. And so that's a factor. I had a pretty good morning in terms of like, I felt good. And yeah, I took care of some relationship stuff today, like texting people back and planning stuff and making decisions on stuff. And then I got lunch with my friend who, I don't know how much I want to go into that, but they are also in tech and they're into a lot of similar stuff like AI and building a life that you're passionate about pretty much, which a lot of times that means starting a business, doing stuff on your own, not working for some company that is doing something else. So they're into that. They're into design. So it's really cool, the conversations that we have. So because yesterday was like, so I guess I'm trying to say I'm not beating myself up for not doing a ton of coding today. But I do want to try to make a little bit of progress on stuff. I should use a bigger bowl. And I worked out today, I forgot about that. That's always good. And I ate a good breakfast. Dude, okay, there's a thing that Naval says, Naval Ravikant, who is a investor VC guy. But he says, you know, a lot of people don't work like lions, he said, where a lot of the times they're just resting, but it's the very targeted nature of their big movements that do most of the work, which, I pretty much agree with that. But you got to do a little bit of work every day too. You don't have to. You got to do where the energy is. And you can't forget about certain energies that you're just not thinking about right now.
But not just any exploration. No. Welcome to our deep dive into consciousness. But not just any exploration. No. We're going full on Douglas Hofstadter today.
Oh, yeah.
You've shared some excerpts from his book, I Am a Strange Loop.
Right.
Plus bits from its index and notes. And frankly, I'm already feeling my brain do loop-de-loops just thinking about it.
This is an AI
Well,
podcast.
it's a good kind of loop, trust me.
Yeah.
This is an AI podcast, and these I've heard these podcasters before, the AI people. I didn't notice at first. For like 3 minutes or something, they were going in. They sound so good. Like they're bearable to listen to, but yeah, they're AI. But you can tell like a little bit. I can't believe I didn't recognize that.
What's so captivating about Hofstadter is that he doesn't shy away from the big questions.
Yeah.
He dives head first into connecting consciousness to mind-bending concepts like strange loops, self-reference, and even Gödel's incompleteness theorem.
Right, like how do you even begin to wrap your head around that? But that's what we're here for today, to break down these complex ideas.
Absolutely.
See what they reveal about the very nature of ourselves, and what better place to start than with Hofstadter's early insights.
Well, Hofstadter had this almost rebellious realization as a young man. He saw consciousness not as this concrete thing, but as a sort of mirage.
Okay.
Like a self-perceiving illusion almost.
He even wrote a whole dialogue about it when he was just a teenager. And get this, the characters are named Plato and Socrates. Yeah. Teenage Hofstadter was clearly not messing around.
That's the emergence of thoughts, feelings, and actions.
Gotcha.
He actually uses a pretty cool analogy to illustrate this. Imagine a giant thought mill.
A thought mill.
A thought mill. Mm-hmm. Think of it as this amazing contraption powered by what he calls symbols, these tiny balls representing ideas, and sims, which are the physical structures of the brain.
So the essence of thoughts bouncing around in our heads, interacting with the sims, the actual physical matter of our brains.
Exactly. And depending on where you look in this thought mill, what level you're focusing on, what he calls symbols, these tiny balls representing ideas, and sims, which are the physical structures of the brain.
The trusty analogy, always there to save the day when things get too abstract.
Right.
But Hofstadter takes it a step further, right? He sees analogy as fundamental to how we think and understand the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He argues that we use analogies constantly, often without even realizing it, to grasp complex ideas and make connections between seemingly disparate things.
He has some great examples in the book, like comparing a straying wife to a straying cat. On the surface, there totally is an experiences through analogy.
Exactly. And this brings us to another fascinating concept that Hofstadter explores: video feedback. He actually conducted experiments where he pointed a video camera at a TV screen, creating a recursive loop.
Now, this might sound like something out of a sci-fi movie, but bear with us. What's so amazing about these video feedback loops?
Well, what Hofstadter observed is that these loops
my
often
God.
produce these incredibly complex self-stabilizing patterns, a phenomenon he calls locking in.
Wait, so just by pointing a
What?
camera screen, you can create these patterns that seem to have a life of their own. That's kind of freaky, but also really cool.
It is, and what's remarkable is that these patterns emerge spontaneously from the simple act of feedback. They become their own justification for existence, almost as if they're saying, look, I'm here, I'm real, and I'm not going anywhere.
It's like they're pulling themselves up by their own.
Fascinating concept that Hofstadter explores: video feedback. And Hofstadter leaves us with one final thought-provoking idea that really drives home this point about interconnectedness.
So we've journeyed through Hofstadter's mind-bending world of strange loops, self-reference, and even pondered the size of our
It's
souls.
been quite a ride.
It has. What's the final takeaway? What's that parting thought that's going to leave us contemplating the universe long after this deep dive is over?
Well, Hofstadter quotes his incredibly poignant line from this book's bibliography.
Okay.
Consider how profoundly wrapped up you can become in a close friend's successes and failures, in their very personal ecstasies and agonies. What are you doing but living their life inside your own head?